Oh, but the General, I have so many experiments I must complete as the scientist. Then you better get your work on. Scientist, I'm tired of waiting for you.
What is going on, guys? Daniel aka Phoenix CTS coming to show you guys another brand new YouTube video today. Little different. We got a review. I don't do these a lot, but when I do them because I want to do it because I love the thing I'm about to be talking about. And we are going to be reviewing The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance Season 1 that recently came out on Netflix. We're going to get into some mild spoiler territory with the show and with the original Dark Crystal film. If you haven't seen any of those, I highly recommend you go watch them before coming back and watching this video, but let's just dive right into it. You guys know how we do reviews. We do characters, story, visuals, music, and then we wrap it all up with a bow at the end, but let's just jump right into it. So for those of you who don't know, I need to preface this entire thing with talking a little bit about The Dark Crystal and my views on it and everything. So The Dark Crystal was an old film that came out in 1982 that was like kind of like a kid's movie that was done entirely with puppets. So it's very practical effects and it's pretty dark, you know, like they show some kind of messed up stuff in there and kind of imagery that is kind of scary for kids. So I remember watching it and getting freaked out a little bit. And then I was like, I don't really want to watch this ever again for a really long time. And then like a couple years back, I went and rewatched it. And I gotta say, like, the story doesn't really hold up for me. Like, it's very basic and simple in its premise and storytelling. But I think the way they go about it and just the visual representation or just the visuals that are presented to us really carry the film and bring us, like, hook us in for the journey. And so that's why I stick around and like The Dark Crystal. And there's some cool characters in there as well, like Chamberlain being one of my favorites. But now what Netflix has done is they've taken that original, like basically like the same team of people and that original concept, and they come in and they're doing a 10-hour prequel series, which is 10 episodes, so an hour an episode, and they're just like bringing this world to life and expanding upon it with more characters and everything, and just giving you more of that same flavor told over a longer period of time. And I gotta say, I really dug that, because when the first one was only an hour and a half, to like cram all of this lore and everything into that was very hard to do. Whereas if you have this 10-hour thing, it's like a lot more well paced. Like imagine if Lord of the Rings was like an hour and a half, like Fellowship. Like that just wouldn't work. Like no. So let's talk about some characters. All right, so the main first three we have to talk about are the main protagonists. We have Rian, Deet, and Brea. And so they're all voiced excellently by their voice actors. Taron Egerton, what's her name? This is why we do research before. Natalie Emmanuel, is that how you say it? If I mispronounce it, I'm so sorry. And then Anya Taylor-Joy is Brea. And they are awesome. They are so good. Like everybody in this voice cast is freaking amazing. I just need to get that out of the way right now. But these three Gelfling are like the heart and soul of this story, because I would say Rian is our main protagonist, and like you kind of get an understanding of why he feels like he needs to do stuff, because stuff happens to him. Like they kill his girlfriend, they kill his dad, and so he's just a very compelling character. Brea has this whole family dynamic that you can really get behind with like how they like mingle and just fight and are trying to please their mother, and so it's very understandable in that sense. And then Deet is like the heart and soul of this movie, or this series, I would say. She's kind of like that friend that just is always super, super optimistic and can never like be sad, and just it makes you happier because you're like, shit, they're happy. Like, of course, there's nothing to be sad about, right? So they all do an amazing job, but there's also a minor character that I really want to talk about, and that's Hup. He's a podling, and the podlings are kind of like not as advanced as the Gelflings, but like, so he has like broken speech, but he is so hilarious and so like pure. That's just, I don't know how else to explain him, as he's pure and he just has good motives and he just wants to fight for the good fight, and that's really like compelling as in a character. But the main reason I watched this is for the Skeksis, because I love their whole power dynamic struggle, trying to fight amongst one another. Who's better in favor with the Emperor? Speaking of the Emperor, we got to see this guy. Last movie, the dude just died like 5 minutes in and we didn't really get to know him, but now we get to see his tyrannical reign, and he is a dick. Like, he is pure evil, willing to do whatever it takes to like stay in control. and be immortal because they're obsessed with this vision. Of course, we got the Chamberlain, who is voiced by Simon Pegg. Props to that guy because he sounds exactly like the 1982 voice actor. Like, it's so similar and they captured it spot on. I love his tricks and his backstabs, his betrayals. Like, they're just so entertaining to watch a Chamberlain do whatever he wants. And then opposite of that, we have the General. They're kind of like arch nemesis. Benedict Wong, again, also did a great job, and just like how he's like the tough brute and can fight and has some cool moments himself as well. And then Mark Hamill voices the scientist. He plays another big role in this because he performs a lot of experiments, especially with the crystal and the Gelfling. And Mark Hamill in a voice acting role is always really fun. And then we got some new characters. We got the Hunter. He's a new Skeksis that we hadn't seen before in the old movie. And this dude like didn't F around. Like, he was legit. He's like a killer who runs around while the other ones are kind of slow and sluggish and they just stay in their castle. He is like out here hunting fools left and right, murking dudes, taking names, like, and that was very impressive to watch, especially with like the whole puppetry, how they managed to do that. But I gotta say, my favorite duo in the entire show is the Heretic and the Wanderer, voiced by Andy Samberg and Bill Hader. Like, they're like these two basically stoners, like in the middle of nowhere, that got their own agenda, and I just thought their dynamic was so funny because the Wanderer is like very slow and just can't talk very fast, and the Heretic knows this and he's just trying to speed him up all along the way. And they're just fun dudes. So overall, I think they nailed the characters. They got the tone perfect. They got the voices perfect to represent the characters from old that we used to know, and also giving us new characters that we don't really know. And we're like, oh, how are they going to play into the original movie? And then sometimes we saw people from the original movie and we're like, wait, what the hell? How did that, why is that happening to them when they have to end up here? So it's very, very confusing and makes you want to be like engaged and want you to see what happens in like future seasons. Hopefully it gets future seasons. All right, moving on to the story, guys. So the story is, it's kind of more complex because you have a bunch of these different like parts all moving at the same time. You have the Skeksis, and it's not just the Gelfling, but you have the Gelfling tribes. It's like Game of Thrones. We got house this, house this, house this, and they're all like got their own little quarrels, and it's all about how they have to like come together to fight against the Skeksis. And then there's this whole thing about the darkness taking over the world, and then Aughra's got her own thing going on. So there's lots of moving parts, and you never get bored staying in one group of people for a long time because it's constantly moving around to different people, so you don't get bored, and because you have to have all these things moving at the same pace essentially over the same period of time, and so they all have to converge later on. So it's very entertaining. There's never a slow beat. I think maybe like episode 3 was the only part where it like kind of dipped a little bit, but then it was right back up there to that really high standard that I fell in love with the rest of the show. All right, visuals, do I even have to talk here, guys? Like, come on, like the puppetry on display is mastercraft. Yes, like it's kind of hard to get behind and empathize with the Gelfling mouth movements and like try to empathize and be like, wow, that's a human character that's like so rich and has a soul. I mean, it kind of takes getting used to, but once you dive right into it, you're good. And like the Skeksis, they look better than ever here, honestly. And all the different creatures and the way they blend like CGI is really well. Like, it was very easy to just over CGI the show, but they did it more like the Jurassic Park vibes, where if it's like super wide shots where you see everything, then we'll go CGI, or if it's a high action shot, then we'll do some CGI. But other than that, every shot they can possibly do using the puppets, they do. And I admire that a lot because it shows and it looks really awesome. And it's like a live action movie without any humans, which makes no sense, but it works. And then we gotta wrap it up with the music. And the music I thought was really good. You know, it complements everything that's going on. You know, when there's a dramatic thing happening, we got dramatic music happening. When it's like exploratory and we see the world of Thraa, they got some like nice magical stuff going on. And then at the very end, they cap it off with the original Dark Crystal theme, which I love. I personally think that song is awesome, and it just really captures the world of Thraa awesomely. And that's how they end it with the title card, and I think it's so cool. So overall, I think the music was really good. I don't like it's not like Lord of the Rings good, but it was really good nonetheless. So yeah, overall I had a really, really good time with the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. I liked it a lot better than the original movie, I have to say. Like, I just think it's that much more rich in characters and just more, there's more meat on the bone, you know, because it's 10 hours as opposed to an hour and a half. So I'm gonna say that the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance Season 1 is a fine piece of television. It's really, really good. If you like fantasy storytelling, I suggest you watch it. It's only 10 episodes. It's on Netflix. Watch it so that we get a season 2 because I really want a season 2. And like, even if you're not a fan of the Dark Crystal or like haven't seen the Dark Crystal, you can still watch this and it just beautifully like tells you about the world and everything. And you don't have to watch it to understand this world and like get attached to these characters. But if you want to, they also have the original Dark Crystal on Netflix too, and I might go rewatch that too, just to like compare and contrast how different the styles are. But overall, I think it's really good. I hope you guys enjoyed this and learned something about it. If you did enjoy these reviews and want me to do more reviews of stuff I like, I'd be totally down to do it. It doesn't take that long, just got to get all the reference images. But anyways, guys, this has been me, Daniel, aka Phoenix CTS. Please drop a like and subscribe for more videos every single week. Got some more filmmaker reactions coming for you. Yes, I'm going to do another Kang Daniel video because you guys really want me to. So I was like, alright, I'll do it. Fine. Okay? But anyways, I want you to find yourself, be yourself, and love yourself. Hi guys, Daniel aka Phoenix here, checking in with you guys at the end of the video. If you did enjoy what you saw, please check out one of these other 2 videos. Or just like the video and subscribe down below for a video every single week. Thank you guys. I love you. Have a good one.